The key says it all, doesn't it? And if this video seems just a touch biased, it's maybe because a Lexus is my daily driver. So when I test a Lexus, maybe there's a tiny bit of bias involved. But let's just have a look and you'll see what I'm talking about. Savvy investing is best left to the experts. And when it comes to offshore investing, it's even more important to talk to an expert. Well, Earl Don from Forexpert is the guy you should be talking to for your offshore investments. Hi, I'm Eleanor from MotorMatters, CHANGECARS and all things motoring. Lexus. The spindle grille gets bigger with every new generation. You can't miss it. You know it's a Lexus. But the latest generation RX has got bolder. And what I mean by bolder, it's got sharper, it's got more creases, if I can call it that. You have a look at the front end over here. You have a look at the angles, the sharpness. It's changed slightly. It's still very much an RX. You can't miss it. But it's got, of course, the LED headlights you can see over here and now. It's got daytime running lights. This is the RX 350 F Sport. So there are also a few slightly more sporty touches to it. For example, you've got these really nice big 21-inch alloys over here. You can see in black again. This is a sign that it's the F Sport version. You take a look there, just a few little touches, a tiny little body kit on it. But what's changed a lot on the latest generation of the RX is actually here, on the C-pillar, where you can see it's angled a bit more, but it just somehow looks different with the chrome in the center of the C-pillar. The treatment is just a little bit different. But while we're here, let's just take a look at the accommodation, because the driver's seat has the auto function, or what I call the fat guy function. In other words, it moves back to give you more room to get out or back in again. And then as you put on your seatbelt, it moves the seat into your set position. So allowing for the fact that actually this driver's seat is way further back than my usual position. I've still got tons of space in the back. Headroom's pretty good, but the panoramic roof that is so big does come right back here. So it does steal maybe a tiny bit from here, but it's really not serious. But in the center over here, you've got aircon vents. You've got controls for separate aircon, that's a separate zone for the rear, and you've got seat warming for the back as well. Have a look over there. In fact, heating and cooling for the rear seat passengers, and a USB-C on either side. So yes, there are maybe catering just for 2 rear passengers, but that's still plenty, isn't it? Considering you've got 4 USBs up front and 2 more at the back. That's pretty good, I must say. I do like that. Comfortable, plush, tons of room, all these things. And also you've got a soft touch function on the doors, which I do like. You come around, I mentioned the C-pillar over here. You can see your tail lights. Look how they wrap around at the back over there. You've got LEDs, you've got all these sort of functions. And you've got what's become so common lately, the light bar across the rear. RX 350, all-wheel drive. But as has become so common lately with so many different cars, may say 350, but it's not a 3.5 litre anymore. It's now 2.4 litre, 4-cylinder turbo petrol that puts out 205 kilowatts and a massive 430 newton meters of torque through an 8-speed automatic gearbox and to all 4 wheels because of that. Now let's pop open the trunk and have a look. I'm not going to remove the cover, just bear with me for that. And I can tell you, oh boy, we got a 2 Allen boot. Very definitely. And that's without dropping the rear seats. I like that. That's a good 2 Allen boot indeed over there, okay? So nice going there, Lexus. But it is your big vehicle, so you expect that. And under here, you got a little hidey hole and things like that. This is a space saver spare wheel, so Lexus, I think you could have maybe given us a full-size spare wheel, but maybe I'm being a bit fussy there, or a bit picky, but let's not worry about it. And over here, you've got a button where you can adjust the rear seats, look there, or fold them down just by pressing that button, so you don't have to do it manually. Little touches that I think you kind of expect on an executive car. Let's check it on the road and let's have a look inside. Taking an evening cruise just for a change, because we always do our daytime cruises, so we decided this is time for an evening cruise. This Lexus RX 350 F Sport, quite a long name, quite a mouthful, but it's quite a vehicle, that's for sure. They've downsized the motor from the V6 you used to get down to a 4-cylinder turbo, and it puts out 205 kilowatts, which is plenty. And of course, 8-speed automatic gearbox, that's as smooth as they come. Massive infotainment screen over there. It's got absolutely everything you want. It's one of those sort of cars. And with 10 airbags, you just have to feel safe cruising around in this car as well. So that makes a lot of difference too. But just overall, no, it's not cheap, but you don't expect it to be cheap. But it's also competitive with the market. And it is the conservative choice in these larger family SUVs. The others are more flamboyant, more whatever words you want to use. I may possibly, depending on affordability, look at the hybrid version instead of just the plain turbo petrol version. But those are things you can think about and discuss for yourself and work out for yourself. It's not important. All I know is, if you want class, understated class, this is the kind of vehicle that really just screams that at you.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of CHANGECARS and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I have one mission, and that is to make a difference to the motoring public. Making a difference how? Making sure that you have safe options, making sure that you have knowledge. In that regard, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of MotorMatters. The man with a hat, I'm the man with no hat, he's the man with the knowledge. Thank you for watching.
You've got your gigantic screen, landscape format screen over here in front of me. It really is big. It's got everything. Again, you're going to get everything you want, everything you need over there. You can see you've got your navigation, you've got your settings for your car. All these sort of things are over there. Nice that you've got different buttons for climate there. You pull up your climate over there. You've got different controls there, your fan speed, your temperatures over there. So all these things, and I do like the fact that, of course, you don't have to go into a screen to change your aircon or your temperatures and settings. You've got heating and cooling for both front seats, and you've got a heating on steering wheel as well. Again, these are all things you expect and you want. There's a button over here you press, and that can give you different views on your cameras. Look at that. That really looks good, doesn't it? It's little things like this that really do matter and really do count. I just like them, and I like playing with them. But it shows you how comprehensive it is. You come down to the center over here. This is pretty interesting to me. You've got 2 USB-Cs over there, and you've got 2 here. Well, you've got a C and an A over here. Now, that one obviously is for linking. I use for linking Android Auto. It links nicely, it works nicely. I used that a lot on this test. And down there, you've got an inductive charging pad and a separate. There's the inductive charging pad for my other phone. You can see how it fits over there, nice and neat. And you've got another extra piece over there. And of course, you can close it if you want for security purposes. Very neat, looks good. Over here, you've got your cup holders, you've got everything over there that you want. Your automatic transmission, quite interesting. It's a little bit different in a way. You to the right and up for reverse, and there your cameras come on, obviously, as I'm sure you expect. And then again to your right and down for drive. Just a little bit different, but it's no hardship, you get used to it. Press a button for park. Nice and easy. You've got your other controls over here, your electronic parking brake, etc., hill descent control. You've even got a little button here where you can just raise your ride height very slightly for off-road conditions or rough road conditions. Not that I think this is a car you really want to test in those conditions. And you've got a pretty substantial armrest over here, which opens sideways unusually, and there you've got a nice little compartment. You've got a Mark Levinson sound system, so you've got exceptional sound system over here. You've got this multi-layer to the dash, which is interesting, looks good, but obviously we are talking top specification. And you get a standard panoramic sunroof as well. Press button for it to open. There you go. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think I have to tell you too much on it. The point being, this is a fully spec'd executive large SUV. The 2.4 litre petrol engine, downsized from the 3.5 from the previous generation on the RX, gives you 205 kilowatts and 340 newton meters of torque. So it's got plenty of power. It really has. And I can tell you that on the road, I did not feel I was being prejudiced by the smaller engine in any way compared to the previous V6. And I was very impressed by the much lower fuel consumption. Over 12 on the last generation, down to 9.7 this time round. I'd love to know what the hybrid versions can do, because the previous gen hybrid was sort of just on 9, if I recall correctly. So that must be pretty impressive for a big vehicle like this. Now, at the end of the day, the bottom line is, what's this car going to cost you? Well, you can get an RX 350 for about 1.4 odd million rand. The F Sport, as we're sitting in right now, comes in at 1.574. Yes, it's an expensive car, but it's a lot of car. It's a real luxury, large SUV, top spec. It competes against your BMW X5, your Mercedes GLE, for example. And you'll see that it's actually a touch cheaper than some of those. Lexus had, and this being their first SUV and their biggest one, it was the original SUV in the Lexus range, has a bit of a conservative reputation, I think I can call it. But it's quality all the way. It shines, it shows all the way. And I can tell you, it certainly is a quality, top spec, executive SUV. It fills that really well. They also give you a 7-year, 105,000 kilometer full maintenance plan in the package as well. As always, it's for you to go and drive and test and drive the competitors and then make your decisions. I certainly enjoyed this test. For MotorMatters, Change Cars, and all things motoring, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you next time.